With us today, we got Joe, Trigger Joe Britson.
All right, let's go.
Boom! To try to get a matchup with a gun. Oh! Goes the lead! Francis is gunning!
Well, this is just a fist. When I start throwing it around, I can leave one hell of a mess. Let's dance.
Multiple occasions. Wow, it looks like they're going to swing to the very end.
And he wasn't kidding.
Wow!
It's very rare.
What a finish! Another one.
It really poses the question, what do you want to do? Do you want to take a chance and risk getting knocked out?
Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Trying to take care of business, trying to get to It's a knockout! Oh my It's a knockout!
And it's closing in. Trying to finish it. And it's over.
Because I'm going to take this foot and I'm going to whop you on that side of your face. There's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Buck is brought to you by Modelo.
I killed it!
Punch me right in the face, man.
And we have a new nickname. Okay, we have William Send It 7 Pearson. All right, other than that, we used to call him Willie Pete. We used to call him the Mad Russian.
For his opponent to be quicker on the catch.
Now you're gonna get it, Bobby.
I think you've had enough. No? Now you've had enough. Bitch.
Wow! How good is this?
Finish him! Body bag! Yeah! All right.
Another one.
Everybody gets triggered. It's just if you become a pansy. That's in the Book of Earl.
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it.
Gotta be very careful.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Sports Betting Show with your hosts, Trigger Joe, Send It 7 Pearson, and the Big Earl. UFC, NFL, if it's on, we're betting on it.
Happy Friday, Trash Talkers, Gruntworks Nation. What's going on out there in whatever world you're in? I can tell you what's going on in our world. It's VA talk. It's disgusting. We don't like talking about it. So we're going to switch topics real freaking quick, and we're going to talk about UFC. All right, we're going to talk about how we got UFC 285, and we got some guy that I've never seen fight before that is apparently the greatest of all time. I have never seen John Jones fight. Ever.
Well,
so
the crazy part is I can't really speak like on his behalf because I don't know what version of John Jones is going to show up. It's going to be very interesting. He's taking a long layoff, and if the last two versions of him that we saw in the octagon show up, I don't have a whole lot of faith in him. But we'll see, man. I mean, he's still 34, and I wish I could tell you what version is going to show up, man. It's going to be a surprise for everybody.
All right, so those of you tuning in for the first time, we appreciate you watching, checking in. Normally we got the champ Bill Send It 7 Pearson on, but he's dealing with some stuff in the Army because he's still in there. Big old Sergeant Major, he's got some stuff going on. He ain't going to be able to make it today. So all it's going to be is the Big Earl and Trigger Joe. So you're going to get in-depth analysis from Joe on all the fights and why he's picking those fights today. So it's a little bit different than usual. However, this is a sports betting show, and if you don't have money, don't gamble. Just don't do it. But if you have a little bit of extra scratch that you want to throw on some fights, Joe and Bill are really freaking good at it. And I bet what they tell me to bet, and I've been positive for about, a year and a half. We had some lumps, because of lumps a couple weeks in a row, but, never go crazy with it. All right, just don't go crazy with it. Bet the locks.
We're always playing with house money.
Right, so stick around to the end because Joe will give you his locks and his parlays. And I always bet extra money on the locks, and then I put a little bit of money on a parlay. All right, parlays usually don't work. It's cool that if you put 100 and you win $5,000, sweet, but they usually don't because you got to pick 6-7 fights to get that kind of payout. And there's always one. There's always what's his name, Sal D'Amato. There's
oh God.
There's always
you
one.
Let it go to the cards. You never know.
Just. Bobby,
seen some of the craziest judging in the last 3 months in the UFC that I've ever seen.
Yeah, so nuts. But anyways, so glad you guys could join us. And before, if you watched the show right away, we have an intro video, kind of let you know that the show's coming up. And then we got 2 sponsors. We got 10th Mountain Bourbon. Ooh, this is why the Big Earl doesn't know what he's talking about. All right, and then so go out, put the code VTT, get a discount. And then we have NR2F Warrior. It's a veteran-owned company that has a bunch of natural supplements for energy and hangover pills.
I was going to say they got the hangover juice, man. That stuff works. For
sure. Hey, Jay Weiss from Michigan is watching. Oh, another Michigan guy.
We just got hammered with snow, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Okay, where you're at. We all got
it. But either way, you'll see the stuff scrolling across the screen. Go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com or go to gruntworksclothing.com and put in the code VTTGW and get a discount. All right. I think that's enough for the announcements. But Joe, what's going on? How are you doing? Besides the foot of snow.
Oh man. Good, man. I'm stoked for this card. It's return to John Jones. He's been in the GOAT status talk since he sat out. It's almost like Brady in the NFL. And it's gonna silence a lot of doubters, or there's gonna be a lot of people saying "I told you so" after tomorrow night's fights. But you know how I feel about talent, man. I never hate on talent. It's always good to see greatness as many times as you can see it. And I think this is a great matchup against Cyril Gane. So definitely not a gimme fight. And if John Jones, that fought Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos on 2 blown out knees, shows up and gets goes for a split decision, this guy's going to kick him in half. So I think that I won't give you my analysis before we get there, but definitely a tough fight to call. And I've gone back and forth on it this week. So going to be a fun one. Plus, you got Valentina fighting, defending her title for what feels like the 17th time against another up-and-comer who I feel like is not ready. And then 2 just absolute bangers of fights beneath it. And then the premier of Bo Nickel, the guy who's calling out everybody. So should be a great main card.
All right, nice. So, all right, when the Big Earl picks, all right, don't listen to me. All right, don't do it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I pick based off the fighter's name, jawline, their appearance, their weight, their age. I don't know anything else. Okay, so just don't listen to me. But unless you want to somehow make $1 million on a dollar, because most of my shit doesn't come through. But okay, let's get off to the first fight on UFC 285. We got a middleweight fight, and you got your Nicolal 3-0 versus Jamie Pickett at 13-8. Now, after doing some research on here, I'm going with Jamie with a fence post slam, second round. All right, you see what I did there?
Fence that thought's slam. Not worth a nickel. Huh? See what I did there?
Huh? Yeah. Huh? Picket fence. Huh?
Yeah, I just said it's not worth a nickel.
Not worth a nickel, your opinion. All right. Well, so what do you say on that fight, Joe?
No, absolutely not. Jamie Pickett is meat. And I agree with a lot of the experts. I watched a lot of tape on Bo Nickel and, a lot of insider opinions on him. And, people say that he could challenge Alex Pereira for the 185-pound title right now. If you're that good, you should dispose of Jamie Pickett inside of the first round and a half. And that's where my money is going, is under a round and a half or Bo Nickel by submission. Bo Nickel by submission pays out minus 170 on a guy who's 1,600 a favorite. So you've got to get a little creative. Under a round and a half pays out minus 320. That's how little they think of Jamie Pickett to last in this fight. So he should destroy him. He's calling out everybody. If that's the case, I think Nickel's going to probably bum rush him and try to maul him and see if he can withstand it. Pickett's going to somehow end up on the ground, and then it's going to be over. I say Bo Nickel first round submission.
Oh,
so
nice.
I've got him played by submission in my parlay.
All right. So, hey, those of you watching for the first time or watching for a couple weeks or whatever and don't understand what these odds are. All right. So when you say you're a minus 300 favorite, okay, if you want to bet just that person to win, you got to bet $300 just to win 100. All right. So that means they're heavy favorites and all the money's on them. So Joe's saying you got to splice that up a little bit and maybe pick how the fight's going to end, because what did you say? Bo by submission's a minus 170? Minus 170 when he's a minus 1,600 favorite. Right. And then Jay Weiss says second round. And he agrees. Possibly. That's why you play him by submission. Yeah. But that still could be the end of a round and a half. You know, the first 2.5 minutes is still cash money if he ends it in the second round. So, and what was that weak ass fight I lost my parlay on last week? That dude who just got kicked 78 times in the leg, the big brawler. Oh, that was William Knight. That was 2 weeks ago. Oh, 2 weeks ago. That cost me I hit 8 and 9, and that was the one I lost. I swear, there was a couple of experts that were like, "Look, man, William Knight took his fight purse, bet it all on Prochnow to win by decision, and breezed out of town." They were like, "There's no way. I've never seen such limited action in a UFC fight. You won't see William Knight get a fight again after that." That was brutal. Crazy. All right. Well, let's go to the next one. We got a lightweight fight, and we got Gamrot at 21-2 versus Turner at 13-5. I'm going to call this by the Rotten Tomato choke. All right. In the first round. So I did there? Rotten Tomato. Yeah. All right. Yep. See what I'm doing with the show today? See where I'm going with this? I may have not. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Yeah, I may or may not have taken a weed pill before I did the picks. I don't know, because it seemed really funny to me at the time. So within a half an hour, we will find out. No, this is when you can tell it's a pay-per-view, is when fights like this end up 3 fights down from the main event. This fight could be the main event of a fight night. It could be the main event of a seated arena outside of the Apex. These two guys are incredibly action fighters. Jalen Turner, the last 5 out, 5 finishes, 5-0, 2 subs, 3 knockouts. Looked like an absolute killer in his last fight against Brad Riddell. But Mateusz Gamrot is just a different animal. He's going to have a speed advantage. He's a phenomenal grappler, and that is the one weakness Jalen Turner has. And for that reason and that reason only, I'm going Mateusz Gamrot by decision. But I could see why people would play Jalen Turner as a live underdog because of his finishing ability. But I'm after the war, Mateusz Gamrot just fought with Benel Dariush, which is one of the most underrated fights I've seen this year. It was incredible. Lost a really close decision. But Dariush is fighting for the title soon, so there's no shame in that. I don't think Gamrot drops this one to Turner. Took it on short notice, said absolutely, I'll take that fight, no problem. Stepped in as a 2-1 favorite, and I'm going to go ahead and play a money line at minus 235 and say Gamrot wins the decision. Very awesome, very awesome. Okay, let's go to a welterweight fight, and we got Neil. Neil at 15-4 versus Rachmanov. I was getting my throat ready to speak like a Russian. Rachmanov. All right, at 16-0. Now, everybody knows that the Big Earl, if the name ends in an off or a Chev, all right, you can't beat them. Like, they've never lost. They're undefeated. Okay, it's science. Fauci said it. So, G off with his head. Rachmanov is going to knock G off's head off. Get it?
Yeah, I knew where you were going, and I already packed my bags. I'm there. No,
G off with his head.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm with you. Yeah,
and Woodrow Wilson says, "What's up, Woodrow Wilson? Hey, the third, bullshit. Woodrow Wilson, 1912.
God, Woodrow, it's been one hell of a party. That's Lonesome Dove.
And he's coming from Maryland. Crap cakes and football, baby.
Yeah, that's what Maryland does. So, Rachmaninoff and Neal, this is one of those fights where Vegas doesn't want the common man to make any money. So, you, Vegas, all right, because this is ridiculous. Jeff Neal being a plus 450 underdog is ridiculous to anybody after what he's done in his last two fights. KO's Vicente Luque. They're putting him up against Rachmaninoff. He asked for this fight. Like he sees some kind of holes in Rachmaninoff's game. Must be using a different set of binoculars because the last 16 guys have all been finished. So 16-0 with 8 knockouts and 8 submissions. He's never seen a decision. Dude's an absolute killer. And according to every MMA gym and podcast that I've listened to, he's the real deal. He's training with some serious guys. I believe it's out of Killcliff, which is one of the premier gyms in the country. And takes his career very seriously. This should be a serious banger. I think the money play here is Rachmaninoff does see a decision for the first time or a late finish because Jeff Neal is not going to be an easy out. He's not going to roll over. He asked for this fight. I think he may have bit off just a little more than he can chew, but he should be like a plus 200 underdog. Nowhere near the numbers that we're seeing. But over a round and a half is minus 160. That's what I'm playing because I think this fight's probably going into the third round, possibly a decision. But I'm taking Rachmaninoff to win either by sub or points. And the play that I'm making is over a round and a half.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm going to tag Drew Dober in this because he keeps ducking us and we don't like it. But it is what it is. Oh, I just had him. Shoot. Anyways, hey, guys, that's we're almost done with the fight card already. It's quick without Bill here, but Joe's doing a great job going through the analysis. But again, if you're watching for the first time or watching for the 30th or 40th time, hey, we sell swag, right? We want to bring this show and especially our signature shows, right, to the top, to the best level we can because we promote veteran-owned businesses, nonprofits for free. Right, we don't take any money from the guests that we bring on our show. So please help us grow as a team and a community because you guys have already done it on the chat threads and stuff like that. But help us out where we can maybe build a studio and some hangouts. That'd be nice to have some like VTT hangouts. That'd be pretty cool. So that's what we're going for. Anyways, let me get this Drew Dober in here. And the next fight is the co-main event. It's for a title, I believe. Correct?
Yeah, this is Bill's girl, Valentina.
Oh, Valentina Shevchenko, right? So obviously
the women's flyweight 125ers.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't even know if I want to pick this one because I have no idea who they are, but I just know Shevchenko is Russian, right? And so she like her and Rachmaninoff, they probably grew up eating mealworms, right? And like they're really upset. And now like that they have money and they realize that socialism is stupid. Right, and they realize they're going to be eating steak, right? That they're going to keep killing because they're just angry. So I got Shevchenko 23-3 versus Grasso 15-3. I'm going to leave this one alone, all right, because I've been smoking the grass. Oh,
I got it. I see it.
What do you say, Joe?
Man, I got Valentina here. I say she rolls. I think Grasso puts on a very good performance. Like Tatiana Suarez, no one really saw that one coming. Valentina winning by split decision. Everyone probably picked her to finish that. I think the run is coming to the backslide for Valentina. I think she's somewhere in the next year and a half, 2 years. I see within the next 3 fights, I see Valentina losing her belt. And the only reason I say that is because it's been such an incredible run. If you look down, her last 5 out all have a belt on them. And then like the next 5 beneath it all have a belt on them if you look at her title defenses in her last 10 fights. She's 34 years old. I think she's one of those girls that likes the fact that her face is still intact and she can still market her face. And that's a real thing. If you look at Ronda Rousey and Paige Van Zandt, they've made careers off of it. So I see Valentina probably schooling this girl to what takedowns are, rustling her ears off, maybe Grasso wins a round, possibly 2. But I see Valentino winning a pretty unanimous decision here. And the money play for me on FanDuel over 3.5 rounds is plus 100 or even money. So I'm taking it. I think that Valentino might just have a little bit of that knockout polish is worn off. Not enough of it to lose this fight, but enough of it for Grasso to last 5 rounds with the champ and probably just take a very expensive lesson. Or excuse me, get a very fortuitous lesson because she's getting paid. An expensive lesson for the UFC. But yeah, I got Valentino.
Well, I got somebody in the chat all fired up over marijuana. Right? They're loving it.
Oh, what's wrong with it? What's the problem?
Like, nothing.
You got a problem with it?
No, this guy's all about it. He's like, these guys like the seedy pot. All right, so
the seedy pot,
and then
there's no seeds.
Now he straight up just wrote Cherry Pepsi and Budweiser. Are those names of pot? Like, are those names of strains?
Are you one of those guys that names your strands?
Yeah. Are you the IPA of marijuana? Like, are you the microbrew? We don't know, but
I'm firmly comfortable with you calling me the soccer dad that walks in and says, "Hey, give me the kind that will get me like this."
Yeah,
that's me at the dispensary. I'm like Will Ferrell ordering coffee and kicking and screaming. Like, I'm one that's half caffeinated and half caff. We're gonna do a half. Like, that's me.
Yeah,
really bright green.
I want something that just kind of zones me out for a little bit, but kind of spells like that. So we're going
wake up and think
Shevchenko.
I've been fishing for 3 hours.
Yeah. He said something about finishers. He must not have watched any of my other career in movies, but we won't get into that. Okay.
Fantastic.
But yeah, we two Wounded Warriors. Joe's got a Purple Heart. I got a Purple Heart. Right. We got
the
enemy marksmanship badge. And we 100% prefer marijuana over any fucking pill the DOD or VA has ever given us.
Yeah.
Ever. Okay.
Better than opiates, and I can debate that stoned off. Like, with one eye open stoned, I can debate that one. It's better than opiates.
And again, we're not telling you to smoke pot, all right? Because that's not our call. Go talk to your doctor, please. Don't say, "Oh, the Big Earl said I should just get off these pills and smoke pot." All right. Hey,
but if it's opiates or weed, you might want to give weed a try.
Yeah, give weed a shot. Even like the CBDs,
opiates are trash.
Even with what do they call Delta 8 compounds now? Now they got like Delta 9s. Yeah. Like, this is great stuff to put yourself to sleep, right? And those are
absolutely
cannabinoids.
They do work.
Yeah, for sure. Annapolis and Virginia, Norfolk are finisher. Dude, I don't know what you're saying. Are those?
I don't know.
Yeah, I want to entertain this guy. I wish you
because code word.
Yeah, we should bring this guy.
Don't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, I don't know. He could be the DEA, but that's fine. But DEA doesn't really care about weed anymore.
Back away slowly.
Yeah. All right. To the main event. All right. This is what we started talking about during the show. Like, the show started, we're talking about it now. All right. I'm excited about this because there's been talk that this John Jones guy at 26-1 has been labeled the best fighter of all time. So it'll be interesting. I probably have watched him fight once or twice, but just didn't know who he was. And then Cyril Gane. All right, at 11-1. All right, now Gane is a Debo, right? He is massive. Okay, he's got like 1% body fat, and he's 250 pounds. All right, he is a monster. I'm gonna try to pick this as if, like, as Bill would pick it, and I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna touch this fight. I'm not betting on it. Jones is one of the best, but he's been out for a while. Gane's 11-1, but he did almost get slept by Tui. All right, he got knocked out by Tui, so that chin might be a little weak, and so that chin might go out. Either way, I have no fucking idea who's going to win. Joe, what do you say?
Bill, if he's watching, I told him I wasn't sure about it yet, and I did, man. I flip-flopped. Dude, I'm gonna go with John Jones pulling out a decision here, and I'm gonna tell you why. John Jones, he is phenomenal, and Chael Sonnen has said this, and Chael Sonnen fought him. And several guys that were in the UFC and around the UFC when he was on his run said he might not be the best at anything, but he's definitely the best at everything together. And this guy finds a way to win fights. He finds a way to be that much better than you at your own game. And the only reason I'm taking Jones over Gane is because I think John Jones is smart enough to know that he has a huge advantage here in the wrestling. Cyril Gane, or as John Jones has been calling him, Serial, all week, with a straight face and not laughing, with no trash talk. He keeps calling him Serial without acting like he's doing anything wrong, and it's genius. It's hilarious. But I think that Jones knows he's got to take him down. And Francis Ngannou, with bad knees and nowhere near the same athleticism that John Jones possesses. He's got two brothers in the NFL. These guys are athletes. Francis Ngannou took him down at will, and Cyril Gane had no clue what to do. And John Jones is notorious for it. When he puts you on your back, he's going to batter you. And getting up is the hardest thing to do. They say when he's got you down, John Jones does not let you up until he wants to get up. So for that reason, I'm going to say he wins 3 out of the 5 rounds by controlling it with his wrestling, doing damage. And he has those razor elbows. Matter of fact, John Jones, in my opinion, is undefeated. That one on his record was from a down elbow to an opponent who he knocked out with it, and they stopped the fight. It was to Matt Hamill. He didn't knock him out, but he did enough damage to where Hamill wasn't right, and they couldn't keep fighting. So he lost the fight via DQ. So that one, John Jones has never tasted defeat. He doesn't know how to lose.
I was going to ask you how he had his one loss, so that's even crazier.
Yeah. His one loss, he lost by knocking the other guy out at slightly at a legal angle with his elbow. Because if he would have come across, it would have been fine, but he hit him down, and it was devastating. So John Jones loves to do the elbows in the clinch. He loves to do the short punches off the clinch, grab to do the wrist control. And if he gets back to that, then it's going to be a long night and a very painful one. It could be a painful one, too, for Cyril Gane.
Yes.
Cyril Gane's mainly a kickboxer. He's only got 12 fights. John Jones has been running this thing for longer than 12 fights in just his prime. And I just don't think that Cyril could make me look like an idiot. He's a very cerebral fighter. He's a very intelligent fighter. He doesn't get into any hype. I guarantee you, has been training grappling. He wasn't training grappling for Cyril or for Francis Ngannou, and that's why the plan worked perfectly for Ngannou. That's why he won that fight. So I guarantee he trained grappling for this one. So it's going to be tough, but I think Jones gets his way in 3 out of the 5 rounds and wins the decision.
Would you say he's a serial knockout artist? No, maybe. I don't know. Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Our weird
guy, good.
Our F. John Jr. Sajevsky says Germany or Poland ? Again, are you naming types of cannabis, or are you just writing things?
Have you ever heard Norm Macdonald's? Rest in peace. Joke about why he's scared of Germany? Because it's brilliant. You ever heard it?
No.
It's like we're talking about winning wars and stuff like that, and what country scares you the most? He's like, I'll tell you who scares me the most: Germany, because you know who they went to war with? The world. And I'm sitting there thinking, should be pretty one-sided, but they actually did pretty good. So it's probably Germany. They actually made it close. But dude, rest in peace. That is one of the funniest humans that's ever lived.
Yeah, I don't want to talk bad about a dead person, but I don't know if he was like hammered or really stoned at the one time.
Did you meet him?
I saw him stand up.
Oh, did he bomb?
I think he was just drunk. Because he kind of just sit up there.
Man, there's a thin line between him sober and him drunk with the way he talks, too, because he's got that real raspy way of dragging on his syllables, hard to tell sometimes. But remember that we had that talk about people who act drunk for a laugh when they're not, and it works.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he did a lot of that.
Yeah, just like
Buddy Beck, but he delivered it well.
Just like the Southern boys who are actually real smart and talented, and they want to play that. I talk like this, so I'm dumb.
Make you think they're big dumb hayseed.
Yeah.
Well, they're planning your demise.
Exactly. But all right, enough of that small talk.
Yeah,
let's get to the money making business of the picks, the locks, the parlays. All right, the DraftKings sleeper. Those of you who don't know what DraftKings is, I'm pretty sure the guy writing 242, Mr. F. John Jr. has no idea what DraftKings is. But DraftKings, you get a salary. You get about $8,000 to spend on 5 fighters or whatever the budget is, and sometimes you got to pick somebody who's pretty cheap. So they Joe and Bill do a good job of giving you somebody to pick that's pretty cheap. So all right, let's hear it, Joe. What's the locks, the parlays, and the sleeper?
All right, my locks are gonna be. I'll throw Ian Gary in there as a lock. He's on the early prelims. Ian Machado, Gary. Bo Nickel, Valentina, and those are the 3 I'm going to give you for locks. But my parlay, I feel pretty strong about each one. I did some extra research on this bad boy. So my DraftKings sleeper, Mana Martinez versus Cameron Simon. Martinez is a one-hitter quitter, and Simon's a banger, so has a potential to be a live underdog and win by knockout. And then Trevin Jones over Cody Garbrandt. Garbrandt has no chin, and Jones has enough knockout power, so he's a plus 145 underdog. Throw him in your DraftKings lineup. Could possibly score a knockout. Mana Martinez as well. But the parlay, all right, so we're going to start off the night. I'm going to throw Ian Gary in there, even though he's really expensive. Just use him as a parlay piece to add on to it. Then we're going Marc-Andre Barriault over Julian Marquez. All right, money line, that's minus 152 for Marc-Andre Barriault. Then I'm going Amanda Ribas over Vivian Araujo. It's the next fight up. She's minus 120. So these parlay pieces are going to add up and be worth something.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got Dricus du Plessis over Derek Brunson. I believe du Plessis is on a tear right now, and Brunson's 39 years old. I just don't think he has the magic. So du Plessis at minus 235. Then I got Bo Nickel by submission. I firmly believe in it. If you want to play it safe, go under a round and a half at minus 310, or you can take Bo Nickel by submission at minus 170. Either way, I feel comfortable with both those picks. Then I'm going to go Mateusz Gamrot money line at minus 215. Rachmaninoff and Jeff Neal over a round and a half. Or if you can't get that option wherever you're at, take Rachmaninoff. Man, I'd say I guess playing money line is going to be a lot more expensive, but I like that fight to go over a round and a half. But I like Rachmaninoff if you got to play it that way. And then Shevchenko and Grasso to go the distance or to go over 3.5 rounds. It depends on where you're at. But at FanDuel, they're plus 100 for over 3.5 rounds. So I like that fight to go the distance. And the main event to go the distance. So
really, the heavyweights going the distance, huh?
Yeah. If you take Ian Gary off of that parlay, it's an 8-fight parlay. And, you can keep him off just in case something freaky happens in that fight because he's really expensive. That fight or that parlay, that 8-fighter, if you hit it, and I did my due diligence, and if those all click, it's 10 pays 600. So nice. It's a plus 6,000. But I will say this has nothing to do with fighting, but anybody that wants to talk basketball with me has to call me 7-Eleven because last weekend I hit a 7 and an 11 game parlay for basketball. And then I turned around after I did all that bragging and shit talking. I thought, I'm not going to say anything else because now I just sound like I'm rubbing him on his face. I hit a 7 and 8 fighter the next day.
Yeah.
After I sent you those parlays.
But the ones you set, they all lost.
I know it. Yeah. So I stopped. I was like, I'm going to stop doing that because it's bad luck.
Manhattan or whatever?
I'm telling you, dude, I was texting Grant. I texted Grant. I said, hey, coach, good luck against Kennesaw State. Great win the other night. Saw you on ESPN. And then I was like, you know what? I was about to send him like, FYI, this is Trigger Joe from VTT that delivered the shirt to your house. But because he was in a meeting and I was like, dude, I'm just going to leave it in between your door. So I actually went to his place, but I sent him a message. They took Kennesaw down to only lost by 1 point.
Yeah, it was close. They covered the spread for sure.
They beat Kennesaw earlier this year. Go ahead.
Yeah. It sucks because I watched the whole game in Queens. Those of you, we're rambling now. I got a good friend stood up in my wedding that coaches Queens University, Division I basketball program in the Atlantic Sun.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
And he's doing a phenomenal job down there. And his team actually was leading the Atlantic Sun in free throw percentage. And then they missed those 3 big free throws in the last minute. And it was just like, that's nerves, baby. That's
college basketball play right there.
I mean, look at Derrick Rose missed 3 free throws, and Memphis doesn't win the title. Like, that's crazy. But all right.
Yeah, for you, those of you out there, we're sports nerds. Nick and I will. If there's a game on TV, we're watching it.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that. People are like, why are you watching them? Sports. Like, these are and don't start anybody on the chat thread. Don't start doing your George Orwell that we're all just staring at a TV all day long. Joe and I are athletes. Okay. Just because you were in the military doesn't make you an athlete. In fact, 90% of you veterans are not athletes. All right. Probably.
Yeah, I'm shooting 45% on my son's Fisher Price plastic hoop. And I mean, that's 25 feet away and I got a 10-foot ceiling in that room to deal with. Only an athlete makes those adjustments that quick.
Oh man! So I mean, I don't know what this guy's doing, but let's just suspend him for about.
Is he muted? You're muted, sir.
Yeah. Okay, well, got it. So I don't know what he's saying anymore. Now he's talking about like euros and francs, whatever. But hey, we actually I can appreciate athleticism, right? Like I will watch any sport, right? That actually is a sport. Okay, golf's not a sport. Bowling's not a sport. All right, pool's not a sport. Actually, I'd probably go with pool being a sport.
I will say, if Bill Murray has a bowling ball in his hand, I will watch fake bowling.
Yeah,
because I'll watch Kingpin every time.
I watch Kingpin all the time. I mean, I love bowling. I'm a Wisconsin guy.
Oh, of course.
It's in our blood. So there's a lot of good bowlers in Michigan too, up there to UP. So anyways, that's it. Yeah, or hey, don't you know? That's the way it goes. That's the way it is. But we got our fight picks, so let's go over it again just to see if I wrote it down right. Your locks are Gary, Nickel, and Shevchenko.
That's right.
Right.
All right. And I'm gonna say the parlay off the way I had it written down, the one that I actually have in. Okay. So I'm gonna go backwards, like from the main event down. So the main event, I've got to go the distance at -116. I really do think it is. I don't think Jones can finish him, and I don't think Jones is going to get finished. So then I got Valentina over 3.5 rounds, or if you have to take Valentina money line, so be it. But if you can get her at over 3.5, it's +100 on FanDuel. Then Mateusz Gamrot money line, Bo Nickel I skipped right over Rachmaninoff and Neal. Rachmaninoff and Neal over a round and a half at -160. Then I got Bo Nickel by submission. Marc-Andre Barrial over Julian Marquez. Amanda Ribas over Vivian Arahu. And Driscus Duplessis over Derek Brunson. Should be 8 fighter. You got 8?
Yep, that's what I got. Freaking awesome. All right, guys. Well, tomorrow we got a great show. We got Daniel Lombard. I said his name terribly wrong, but he is the CEO and co-founder of Project Refit, which their job is what they've taken on is to help veterans get out of that isolation feeling that a lot of us have felt. So it's a pretty cool nonprofit, not a big one. So we're gonna maybe let them showcase what they're doing. Then we got JC Glick coming on, VTT's dad. What is it? VTT's heartthrob. All right, I used to call him VTT's dad.
That's right.
Dad bod. And he got all pissed off. Yeah, so he's like, I don't have a dad bod. And by the way, JC, you have a dad bod. Like you're.
And he sounds just like that. The way Nick just did it. That's exactly it. Spot on.
And like he actually has, he's a very strong person, and you can tell that he likes to enjoy himself once in a while. And there's nothing wrong with that, JC. Nothing wrong with that.
It's like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Long Came Polly. He's a very sexy guy, and he's sexual in the community. It's a highly underrated comedy. Sorry,
for sure. But Let's see here. I help all veterans in many different areas. All right. Thanks, Jay.
Party on.
Yeah, party on, Jay. No, that's exactly what we're for here at Veteran Trash Talk. We built this community, but we don't own it anymore. It's yours, and we need you guys' support, and we need you guys to get on there and do the right thing. Like, don't write stupid shit that gets us taken down. All right, that's just Facebook has a monopoly that way. Don't do it.
And Trigger Joe's power just blinked again, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, I saw that.
And hammered with a blizzard.
And the Big Earl, all right, I put this on the Big Earl's page, so follow me on VTT's Big Earl. I am going to talk a little bit about something during the Book of Earl time frame, and it's going to be about the virtual singling, all right, of the left and the right. So it'll be slightly political, but not much. But you know who you are, okay? You all know who you are, who you say and do things just to be relevant, even though you're living 17 different lives.
What's an example of virtue signaling? Like,
okay.
Give me one.
Okay, an example of virtue signaling. All right. Oh, this is a big problem with the bro vets. All right, like the bro vets, the ones that like you didn't serve in combat, you're not even an infantryman. And it's like, and then you start giving, because I'm a veteran, I know this. It's like, settle down, veteran. Okay, like chapter 1, verse 1. Quit being a triggered pansy. Okay, just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you speak for all of us. Okay, and so as a veteran, when you say as a veteran, all right, you're right there. It's virtue signaling. Like, oh, I'm better than you. I know more than you. Oh, like again, it all leads back to the same thing. All right, don't be a narcissist. It's okay to make mistakes. I make mistakes. I say things. I put my foot in my mouth all the damn time. All right, just own it. Just freaking own it. Like, yeah,
you can tell. You can tell some of the negative reaction, and I'll give one example before we get cut off for rambling. But the negative reaction, because there's no shame in my game. The biggest veteran trigger I give out is, do you guys do a military discount? And listen, I say that almost everywhere. And the amount of times people look at me like I'm a Rottweiler and they just took the chew toy out of my mouth when they say no, it's incredible. And I'm like, hey, like, no big deal. I asked because I'm not rich. I totally appreciate it when you guys do, but yeah, man, it's not. I'm not like not going to shop here anymore. Just, it's a few $100.
Yeah, and here at Veteran Trash Talk,
I appreciate it when it's there. I don't feel entitled to it. I'm grateful for it when people do it.
Yeah,
I don't expect it.
Right. And then the other, like the bro vet or the Karen vet, I call it now too, because we have to, be equal, right? You can't call a chick a bro vet because they get all.
That's being transitioned into a racial term now too.
Right. Exactly. So, well, it should actually. I actually got mad at it at first, but I can use it for humor if I'd like. Sure. It's guys, like. I can't stand the PTSD one, like Jay Weiss said. Like I can't stand that one either. I have PTSD. So fucking what?
There you go.
Right. As somebody who struggles with PTSD, you struggle with PTSD. All right. No. Let's all right. Now let's talk.
You know the time when when that's an acceptable statement is when people are looking at you going, "What the fuck was that about?"
Yes.
You can be like, "I have PTSD," and then you
apologize.
Be humble about it and be like, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry."
I'm sorry.
Because they didn't ask to join the fucking army. Yeah. You asked to join the civilians.
Yeah, and then, like I said, but then they'll just throw the blanket term out there. Oh, I have PTSD. Wait. What about it?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Because I have PTSD as not as a whole thing. Everybody knows this that watches the show. I have anger management issues, right? And I get super anxious sometimes, right? And there's times where I own it. It ain't nobody else's problem, right? When I feel that, I got to get out of the room for a second.
Not to mention the education we received when we started this about when you're saying I have PTSD, you could be talking to a rape victim that is also a veteran, and that opened our eyes to how bad the problem really is. I won't speak for you because you had your finger much more on the pulse because you were still in, but it opened my eyes to how bad the problem was, and it's insane. You never know who was in a house fire as a kid or in a tragic car accident and lost somebody or lost someone to cancer. Like trauma is trauma. And it's a fingerprint for everybody. It's different. But when you say I have PTSD, You're probably saying it as the majority. For
You're
the people
saying
in
it
the
to
room.
get
They
people.
probably all have a
You're
bit of
saying it to get people to pay attention to you, and it's like that's not
Right.
what you're supposed to do.
It's
like,
not a qualifier
that's
as significant anymore.
You're singling. That's virtue singling. Like, listen
Right.
to me. I have PTSD. I know what I'm talking about. Shut the fuck up. Like, you know, it's like they put the. No, but hey, watch the show tomorrow. Watch Trash Talk Hour. All right, 1700 each time. I'm gonna cover it. All right, we're gonna get after it because I'm gonna trigger some people. I'm gonna trigger some people tomorrow.
Yeah, you're getting a real Logan Paul look with the with the facial hair. You should just go like 5 o'clock shadow or something.
Yeah, I mean, should I dye it like you?
Dude, what? Listen. It's natural, and you know it. Don't get my blood pressure up. I'm in Eastern time, and I need to go to sleep tonight.
Don't point at me. I got PTSD. All right.
Yeah, I got PTSD, so don't point at me like that.
And as somebody with PTSD, let me tell you something. All right, let me explain.
Well, don't point at me with that voice.
Oh my god. But whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, it's great. Here's another good. Before we go, here's another good example. Every single fucking politician is virtue signaling constantly. Right.
Yeah,
like you see how many times, like I'm going to give it, I'm hoping for the sake of humanity, I'm going to give it about
the carrots they dangle 6
more years to where technology is just so good that politicians aren't allowed to switch platforms every 5 freaking years. When the Republicans are doing something, the Democrats are mad about it. Then the Democrats will do the exact same thing, and then the Republicans will bitch about it.
I changed my mind.
Like, look at what we're talking about here with, like, all of a sudden, we got don't tell me what to do to my body with abortion, and then all of a sudden everybody needs to get a vaccine. Whoa, same fucking thing. So it's like, So anyways, regardless, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
We'll get into it tomorrow. But anyway, hey, check in 7 tomorrow. And then also, because Bill's not here, he's taking care of some stuff with his unit. Sounds bad, but his actual Army unit. But so let's thoughts
with his unit.
Thoughts and prayers with good old
safe travels, brother.
10 and 7, safe travels, buddy. And he always brings up Gold Star Teen Adventures. We have partnered with them. We always do our birthday fundraisers. We donate some money to them.
Yep, we both got birthdays coming up.
Yep, and so again, I've said this before. I didn't really think about it till about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But it's like you see the Gold Star moms and the Gold Star dads, but we don't think about the Gold Star children. Seeing as we're far into the past the GWAT, there's a lot of kids that are teenagers and even adults, right? That they haven't been with their mom or dad for a long time. And, we can't replace them. Gold Star Teen Adventures isn't trying to replace them. But, if we can, put a smile on their face one day, whatever, and take care of our own. That's the whole point of Better and Trash Talk is to take care of our own.
You know what what I always think about with that is, we know you can't donate to every charity and everybody's got a good reason for it. But think of your kids left holding the bag, waiting for you, and you ain't coming.
Yeah.
That's what changed. I think about that when I think about this charity, and it's like, I can't do enough because those are our brothers and sisters. And to think of your kids waiting on you and you ain't coming it's maybe one of the most sickening feelings a man can feel. And that's what these kids have to go through. So, we try to do our best to take care of them, and rightfully so. Absolutely. Because man, they don't make the news and they certainly don't give votes. So
yep, absolutely spot on. So all right, hey, that's what we got, fellas and ladies. We'll see you 1700 tomorrow for the Trash Talk Hour. Make sure you get your bets in.